As soon as that final bell rang, we ran onto the court and all the seniors were crying. It's their last year and they finally got to, experience what it feels like to be a tournament champion. My name is Victor Radocaj. I play basketball at McMath in Richmond, BC. And right now I'm playing basketball for Eastern Washington as a freshman. Growing up, I actually played a lot of soccer. I didn't actually start playing basketball until I was 10 years old. I was always tall for my age, and I got cut from the soccer team. My dad was like, so he looked in the newspaper. He's like, hey, how about I sign you up for this basketball program right here? I improved pretty quickly and started playing in tournaments down in the States. Slowly, surely, I got better and better. Played at McMath, played for 3D. And once I got to 3D, school started looking at me. And it was pretty crazy experience. And then when I was in the 9th grade, I got an invite to the national team. I was just as surprised when they told me that I had made it. I think it was one of the better experiences, better camps that I've ever had, and where I played just above what I thought I was at. And hopefully I'll get to experience that again one of these years. Eventually, I lived my first AU program. I thought that I could play as a wing. I came to 3D. And Victor Radocaj, he helped me a lot when I first got to 3D. Trained me as a guard. I got a little bit of handle. He had another player, Yusuf. I saw that he was a tall guy who could handle the ball. It was his last year with 3D when I first joined. So I got to play with him and see what he did. He was a leading scorer on the team. Gordon's coaching and, our team was really just together and we played really well together. I feel like we upset a lot of teams that we maybe weren't supposed to beat. It was really good for my development and, luckily I got a scholarship. So obviously I did something right. I went down to Ontario where they have a prep league. Basketball players who have similar goals as I do could, all get together and play for a scholarship. And luckily I got one. Fell in love with this university when I went and visited. I talked to the coaches, the players, and just the atmosphere was amazing. I knew it was the right place for me. After when I got to Eastern, I was wide-eyed freshman, deer in headlights. I got onto the court. The seniors are going at me. They're not holding back. Obviously, I'm one of the few West Coast guys that are in the NCAA. It's really crazy to me. It's really cool that I can represent my city and my home. It really is prideful that we can show them that the West Side can hoop. This year has been crazy. We started off as the mid-major. We had the hardest schedule, non-conference schedule. It was early on in the season, and you could see a lot of flashes of what was to come. I'm a freshman this year, and I have a lot to learn. If you look at the footage from the beginning of the year, I looked like I didn't know what the hell I was doing on the court. When the Big Sky tournament started, we won our first game, and the first game is always the hardest. Second game, we just destroyed Montana. After that, I was looking at the score. I'm like, after this one more game, I get to go to March Madness in front of all the spotlights, playing against one of the biggest teams in the country. We came in, we did our job. March Madness usually doesn't show freshmen too much love, especially freshmen who play behind a lot of other guys. But I think you have to know your role. And right now, my role is to be a good practice player for them and cheer them on during the March Madness. So eventually, that I can get into that level. When it's time for you to take the reign, you're gonna be right there with them. As soon as that final bell rang, we ran onto the court. And it was an insane experience. All the seniors were crying. It's their last year, and they finally got to experience what it feels like to be a tournament champion. Sadly, we didn't get to celebrate too much because the day after we hopped right onto a plane to Indiana, and we couldn't leave our hotels, or we couldn't even leave our rooms. They didn't want us to get corona. Even though we won, we do have our job to do, which is beat Kansas. We're super pumped up to play them because personally, I think that we can make an upset. They're down 2 guys. We're hyped up. A lot of people are just going to count you out, and I think with a full team, we got a head of steam going. The momentum's in our court, I feel like. And if we capitalize on it, we could be one of the headlines in March Madness. Everybody always loves a good Cinderella story. I'm hoping we're one of them this year.